What's up guys, Footberg here, and today we are going to run through a little sort of market watch. We're going to have a look at a few different things that are coming up in the next couple of days and things that have happened in the last couple of days. So let's jump over into the video. So guys, the first thing that I want to do is jump back to the last video we did with the Bundesliga investing. If you invested in the Lewandowski cards and the Timo Werner cards that we talked about, you will be sitting on a nice pretty penny. They did go up nicely as we anticipated on the Friday. But what happened on the Friday, they crashed and then went straight back up. Now the reason that this happened is because obviously Lewandowski and Timo Werner are both very popular cards in FIFA. And their team of the season prices, Lewandowski 3 million, Werner's coming in at about 1.5. But he was a little bit higher towards like Friday, Saturday. So essentially what's happened is, if we look at the graph of say 93 Lewandowski, this is one that I went in on. Now he's currently sitting at 150k, which is absolutely ridiculous, okay? If we look at hourly graph on the Friday, you can see that he started casually rising throughout the day, and then when we hit that 6 o'clock mark, he started to dip. But as soon as that little panic then, when you get to around 8 o'clock, when that little panic of, oh my God, Lewandowski's coming in at 5 million, which his team of the season was at the time, then you start to see that rise again. He started to rise up to around 120. And then on the Saturday, people are obviously starting to play their games. So they're going out and they're buying these cards. And look, he gradually rose up to 140, 142. And today he started to drop last night, obviously, as Europe starts to go to sleep. And then today, as Europe wakes up, the card starts rising. As you can see here, 7 o'clock, started rising, and he's now hit 150k. This card we talked about, and I went in personally at 99,000 coins, so that is 50k per card. Also, if you look at the 94, which we talked about, I think when we spoke in this video, in the last video, he was 180k, I think he was. So you're looking at 60k profit after tax. No, sorry. You're looking at about 50k profit after tax. That is very good for a four-day hold if you just wanted to hold on to them. So you can look at this for next week. Say for instance, if it's Serie A, you could look at Cristiano Ronaldo's inform, or maybe his shapeshifter, and what you can do is normally, we would sell at that sort of before 6 p.m. And make sure we get the coins in the hype. But obviously we know Cristiano Ronaldo would be so expensive as team of the season that around 8 o'clock, that inform would dip, but then it would start to pick up again. You can hold on to that card till around Saturday and you will be able to sell it for profit because his team of the season is still going to be so astronomically high. And it's exactly the same with Timo Werner. If you look at his hourly, this is for the team of the season. If we look at his 88, also another thing, I prefer going in for the informs rather than the headliners. The informs have had much better rises. But if you look at Timo Werner on the Friday, you see this little jump here between 5 and 6. So this is where he took that little jump up in that last hour where people are buying and selling in the hype and everyone's crazy. And then he just sort of stagnates. And then he starts to drop off to 105. Then yesterday, you'll see that in the morning, he just started rapidly rising. And then at this point, when Europe wakes up, Europe starts playing their weekend league games on Saturday, and he's just risen up to 130k. And this is on the Saturday with that Timo Werner. And then today, he's hit that peak of 130k again, and he's sat around 130k now. He's just got a little undercut. So that is something that you can manipulate with next week. If it's Serie A next week, you could do it with an informed Cristiano Ronaldo. If it's Liga 1, you could do it with informed Neymar, informed Mbappe. Do it with cards where you know their team of the season is going to be so expensive that only a minimal amount of people are going to be able to buy it. So that's the first thing we're looking at. In terms of Lewandowski and Timo Werner, we've made some great profit there for a few day hold. Obviously with this trading, when you're holding cards for a couple of days, do other trading alongside it. Don't just put all your coins in this and wait. put 80% of your coins into this, save 20% and do some live flipping. You know, buy a card, flip it, flip it, flip it. You don't want to put all your eggs into one basket, okay? So that is the first thing we're going to look at today, is the sort of informs that can rise up in price when their team of the seasons are so high during that weekend league. Right, the next thing that we're going to talk about is a big one, because this happens all the time. It is the Alphonso Davies saga. He has got the price range of the max price of 550k. Now, everyone and their mother went out and bought this card thinking, oh, as soon as that price range is updated, I'm going to make a fortune because people are going to buy him, blah, blah, blah. This happens every single week when a new card comes out with a price range that's too low. Every single person goes out thinking the same thing, thinking they'll buy this. Now, what happened with Alphonso Davies is EA just thought, fuck you, we're not updating his price. And then, at some point yesterday, or it might have even been this morning, if we look at yesterday, his price still 550 all day. So today it happened on the Sunday. People thought, right, I'm going to have to get out of this card now because it doesn't look like EA is going to update him. And then as soon as them first couple of people start listing him, look at that, 100k undercut. As soon as people start listing, everyone panics and they go, ah, shit. And everyone lists Alphonso Davies at the same time, and everyone's undercutting. Someone could list him at 540, the next person that sees it will list him at 530, the next person will list, and then it'll go on, and it dips and dips and dips. And in the course of 4 AM to 6 AM in 2 hours, he has dipped 185,000 coins. Now, when he hit this low point, if you were awake at this time, when you see that low point, this is the point where you would go in and invest, because obviously people have panic sold so much, it hits a bottom point. There's only so low a card can go, and it hit that bottom point, and this is where you would start to buy, and then you will gradually see a rise again. You might start to see it dip off as Europe starts to wake up. But he's coming in now at 414k. He went down to 365. You could have made a little bit of profit if you invested in that time. But what I will say, with any card that you invest in that's got a max price range and it's extinct, if you invest in that card, you have to be awake when EA update it, and you have to be on the ball. If you miss it, you will lose coins. The amount of times that as soon as a price range is updated, the price will jump up higher and then it will dip below what the price it was extinct at. If you want to go and look at a Adama Traore team of the season, for example, I can't remember exactly what price he was extinct at, but then as soon as they updated his price range, he jumped up in price. If you sold within that first 10 minutes, okay, fair enough. But also, when you do sell in that first 10 minutes of the update, don't get too greedy. If his price range is, say, extinct at 700 and they update it and you list him for 800, but then all of a sudden people start undercutting you, your card is stuck on the market at 800,000 and people are undercutting you. Your card's stuck there for an hour. So don't be too greedy. If, say, it's extinct at 700, just chuck them on at 750. Just take that little bit of profit. Make sure you get out and you get your coins. So that is just basically what I wanted to go over with this Alphonso Davies thing. Make sure if you are going to invest in an extinct card, you're online, you don't get too greedy when you sell. It is as simple as that. So that is something to keep in mind, guys. I have teamed up with Dynamic Foot Store, and at the moment they are bringing an amazing deal. You can go and buy anything on the website and you will get yourself a free small card as well. And also, if you use my code FUTBERG at checkout, you will get yourself 15% off. The link is down in the description below. Let me know in the comments what cards you're thinking about going and picking up. So guys, the next thing I want to talk to you is how to make profit daily. Now, this is more inclined to the people on in America and when it's very, very late in Europe. We're talking 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock UK time in the morning. Right. I think a prime example we're going to start with. One of my followers, every day when I post about this specific thing, he always comes back at me and he shows me what he's bought in them specific times and then what he's sold for. And as you can see today, at 5 o'clock in the morning, see between 4 and 5, you can see that big dip in price. He's picked up 20 Lozano, 39k, sold at 48k. That is 120,000 coin profit for a, what are we talking there, 4-hour hold. So that is very, very good. The example that I gave this morning, which prompted him to reply with that, is Kostic. Now, if we go over to Kostic's daily graph for his team of the season, okay, you've got an hourly graph. If you look at him today, now this is obviously midnight. If you look at him now from 1, 2, 3 in the morning, he's nearly at 200k, right? And that is when Europe is fast asleep and it's just sort of America online and the very early morning, or I don't know what time it would be in Australia. But anyway, we're going to talk about America. So if you were in America and you were buying these cards, it's nighttime for you, it's prime time. You can go out and you can buy these cards and then just wait for Europe to wake up. So you got 8 o'clock in the morning, he's 225 and he starts to rise. He's currently at 230 to probably around 235. If you would have picked him up at 202k, right, and you sell him for 235,000, you're taking home 223,000. You're making around 20k profit, and you have held that card for probably less than 12 hours. So you can do this with so many cards. That was today. If we go back to Saturday with Kostic, here we go at midnight. If you look at around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, he's again at around that 200k mark. And then as Europe starts to wake up, look at that, his price starts to rise. He goes up to 235k. Now you can do this with some team of the season, some that I've seen that you can do it with so far. You've got Kostic, Hakimi. If we go back and we look at him on Saturday morning, if you've got between 230k there on the sorry, mine went completely dead then. You've got 225, 230k at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then it gradually starts to rise to around 250k. And then today, if you see him, he's even lower now. Around that 1, 2 o'clock, he was 210, 208, and then he's gradually risen back up to around that 230. He started to drop off again now, but say you picked him up at 208 and you sold for 230, you'd still be making 10k a card for a couple of hour hold. So you can do this with quite a lot of special cards, mostly out of pack special cards. It's just a case of going through on Futbin, have a look at their hourly graph for the last 3 days, and you can get like a little sort of understanding of when they're at their low point and when they're at their high point. If you find a card and consistently for the last 3 days, between say midnight and 4 a.m. they've been low, and then when Europe starts to wake up between say 7 and 10 a.m. for UK times and they start to rise, you might want to look at those cards and you can probably make a good little bit of profit. But as I said, this is mostly for people that are in America or people in the UK that have got extremely messed up sleep schedules. But apart from that, that is another thing that you can make a little bit of profit on. So guys, the next thing that we are going to look at is something for the future. Now, over on Footwatch on Twitter, they have tweeted this player group 10 code. Now, it just says team of the season so far, team of the week, or team of the week moments. Now, we don't overly know what this means at the moment. It could very well be a pack that contains any of them. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation that it could be to do with icons, so maybe there could be a prime icon SBC coming at the moment. But what I do know is that player group 9 was under the mid icon SBC. So there is something that you can look to do, maybe investing in the likes of cheap team of the season cards. Now, if we go to say 87 rated, the cheapest 87 rated on the market, you've got the likes of Keylor Navas, Fernandinho, 21 to 22k. But if we look at the cheapest 87 team of the seasons, somebody like Donk, who is currently in packs at the moment, and he will be in packs tonight during Squad Battle Rewards. I would probably have it a guess, you'd be able to pick him up at around 21k if you want to snipe him or maybe get on bids an hour after Squad Battle Rewards come out. Someone like that, he's in an alright league, he's got some links, he's got a good nation, centre back, so a very good position. Maybe want to look at going investing in some very cheap team of the seasons. Let's have a little look for 88 rated as well. So the cheapest 88 rated team of the season at this moment in time is Cisse, and obviously being in the Turkish league, he is still in packs at the moment along with the likes of Donk. So you could maybe look at this guy. Let's see what the cheapest he's been this week. Around 27.5k he was yesterday. If you look at today, he's been around 27.5. He's coming in at around 29 at the moment. So tonight, again, I will probably look to try and get him for around 27k. And have a little look at things like that. So to get some cheap team of the seasons, just in case they do go and release a prime icon SBC. All these cards will rise rapidly, as you'll remember from the first time we got the mid-icon SBC. But personally, prime icons, even at this stage, they're just not good enough now. We need prime icon moments if they're going to release an icon SBC. But these cards will still go to a stupidly high price compared to what they are now. So that is something that you can look to invest in at the moment. Cheap team of the seasons, or possibly some cheap informs. The time to invest in the inform probably would have been last week when we had the tradable team of the week SBC. But for now, I will probably go with cheap team of the seasons. So guys, the last thing that we want to talk about is the Liga Nos team of the season. It is thought that they will be coming out on Monday. They will be replacing the Turkish league. So this is a good opportunity to get in on some gold cards as sort of some out-of-pack investments. If you watched the last episode with the Bundesliga investing, you will have seen I advised Serge Gnabry when he was 4.5k. If you look at him now, he's 9k. And that's why I've looked towards Liga Nos now. Players that I would probably look at most would be players like Pizzi, Rafa. I would expect them to be like guaranteed to get into the Liga Nos team of the season. Like Telles is an option, but if you look at Telles, he's already 8.2k, and I'm not sure if his max price is 10 or 15, 12. So you're limiting your profit that you could make there if you were picking him up for 8k and you can only go to 12. But there's a few players here that you can look at. You've got Pereira, Correa. They're good players that you could look towards. Who else is there? Let's have a little look at them. They're gold cards anyway. So you've got Pizzi here at 5k at the moment. I'd probably look during rewards tonight, during squad battle rewards, see if you can get him a little bit cheaper than 5k. You've got Danilo Pereira, maybe try and get him under 1.8. Rafa, try and get him around 2k. If you can't get them at exactly the prices I'm saying now, don't be afraid to go 200 or 300 coins above what I'm saying now. If you have to pay 2.3k tonight for him, pay it. Because you've just seen what happened to Gnabry, who's gone up double in price, 100% ROI. So you could pay for this Rafa 2.3, say next Saturday, for example, he could well be 6k. And it goes back to what I talked about earlier in the video. If you're doing investing like this and you're holding cards for that longer time period, do other investing around it as well. Like them daily flips that I was talking about, where you're holding it for a few hours, and then you've got some cards that you're holding out of pack goals that you're holding for a while, and then you can have some informs like Werner and Lewandowski that you're holding for about 4 days. So right there, you're covered from daily flips, 3 to 4 days, and 5 to 7 days. So just look at things like that. Also, another card I might look at is Andre Almeida. Obviously, being a right back, it's a very good position. He's 1.3k at the moment. But if you look at this little like prediction, he's not in this prediction. But I can always remember him being in team of the season. So he might be a card that you might want to take a little risk on. But personally, my favourites would be Pizzi, Rafa, and Corona. I probably would risk it with Almeida as well, and you can see what happens along the way. But pretty much, guys, that is going to be it. We've covered quite a few little bases here. If there's anything else that you would want to know and I can put it into another video, etc., just drop it down in the comments below. If you've seen the little advert halfway through and you want to jump on any of the Foot Store FIFA cards, we've got 15% off at the moment with code FUTBERG, like I said, and you get a free small card as well. The link for them is down in the description below as well. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.